This is called this regular council of the city of Thompson for April 24th, 2024 to order at 7 p.m. I'd like to recognize that we're on Treaty 5 land, traditional land of the Nitchis Cree Nation, homeland to the Métis, and we are all treaty people. Thank you. Next, I'd like to call for an approval of the agenda. Councillor Fitzpatrick, Councillor Colburn, all in favor? Carried. Thank you. Next, we're going to go to community comments and feedback. If there is anybody from the community that has any comments, please come forward, state your name and address and your concerns.
My name is Ashok Gandhi, and I 37 Queens Bay, Thompson, Manitoba. And I've been residing in Thompson last 47 years, driving cab for the last 32 years. And we have some issue to discuss with you guys. That's why you're here for. From Orange Taxi Main, all four of us. If you allow us, I could speech with them. Oh. Ready?
Yep.
Okay, the first one is black hours. Mandatory hours, 160 hours. And we don't want that. And we never had them. And we don't want them. You know, because a lot of them owners have to go out of town for a long time. Overseas, mostly people are from overseas, so we have to for a long time. For elderly parents, sickness, and other personal reasons. That's the number one. We don't want no hours. And the other one is the limit of licenses. Like they said, part-time only could drive for 14 hours. So once you have the license, why hours? If the person wants to drive longer hours, part-time, full-time, whatever, you know, allows him, he should do it. You know, should be no restriction. Number three. When I sometimes get involved in incident, crime from the public, aggressive people, city call us for the footing, image from our cameras. And sometimes we get into accident. If we want that footing to prove at MPIC, we should have that footing too, from the police station or city inspector. And they say you can't refuse the trip. Once it comes to dispatch office, the driver does not want to go to designated places because people, we have certain address, people are aggressive, they don't want to pay us. Dangerous places, especially after midnight. Anything else? Oh, sorry.
So they just asked for his name as well.
Oh, this is Ramandeep Samna from Thompson 35 Pelican Crescent. I'm been here since 2010 and driving cab since 2016.
Thank you.
And mostly, these are our concern, mostly the hours. And the other one, why the owner has to be here for inspection. You know, they have to inspection our vehicle, not the owner. That's all our concerns at this moment.
Thank you.
Does anybody have any clarifying question? Excuse me, we're gonna take a couple questions, clarifying questions. Deputy Mayor Valentino?
Sure.
Thanks, Marcia. Just for clarification, Katie, so for the hours, you said like the 160 hours, you don't, like no mandatory hours at all, or is there another number that would be
Shouldn't be
recommended?
mandatory, right?
No mandatory hours, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, should be
Okay.
flexible, right? Or no hours for the owner, right? If I don't wanna drive, I have 2 drivers full time, as long as my car stays on the road.
I just needed to clarify that.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Councilor Colbert?
So you guys are from Orange County, you do 24 hours a day,
24 hours a day,
the other companies don't?
but some of them don't. Like sometimes the driver takes up, if his business gets slow night time, after 2 AM, there's hardly any business. So they just take off, they do start at 5 PM, they work till 2. Long weekend, like weekend stuff, we work longer hours, sometimes 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning, so they put 12-hour shift. Like after 2 AM, there's no business. So some drivers go home, but mostly we have our cars on the road all the time, you know, enough for the service nighttime. And it's got family lounge and long weekend, and we have all of them on the road. We don't know about the other side, but we have over 16 cars mostly time on the road.
Councilor Fitzpatrick?
Thank you, Mayor. Again, back to the hours, so you say you have 2 drivers, you're the owner, you have 2 drivers.
Right,
So if you don't drive,
right,
how do you maintain your license?
maintain my income.
Yeah, how do you keep your taxi license if you don't drive?
Well, I drive certain hours,
Oh, okay,
you know,
okay, but you don't wanna
Like,
have to be, you don't wanna
we-
commit to 160,
160, right?
okay, okay. And, another question, and, with the refusing calls, I mean, I understand, I mean, you guys are in a dangerous business, absolutely.
Right,
And yeah, there are people out there that are
yeah,
gonna jack you up whenever they can, so I can kind of see that.
Yeah.
Definitely being an issue.
like we don't wanna refuse, right? What we here for? We here for
Yes.
business, right? And first
So,
come, first serve.
I guess my question is, how do we deal with that? Because I guess everybody's entitled to a ride,
Right,
but how do we work around that? Right?
Right.
And keep you guys safe most of all.
that's right. That's why we want a solution, right?
Yeah, okay, thank you.
You mentioned about the, like any accident or incident that happened,
Right,
you like to have a footage
right.
for your protection, like in case somebody
Yeah.
want to take you to
See,
court.
in case we wanna back up in MPIC, right?
Okay. Okay, that sounds reasonable, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Just a quick touch on that. Does the city's footage,
Pardon?
the cameras that's in the taxis, that footage belongs to the city?
Yes.
The city's footage, right?
My understanding is the cameras are owned by the drivers or the owners of the vehicles. But the only person who can access the footage is the city inspector. So there's this, I don't know how it works, but there's a setup so only the inspector can pull the video.
And if them guys request, have there ever been a request?
I don't know. It sounds like there has been.
Let's go to Carol. Do you have maybe some clarification?
We've had one request recently for the footage, but our bylaw did not allow us to do it, to
Cool.
provide them the footage.
Our bylaw says they can't have the footage.
The existing bylaw does, the new one allows for it.
Sure. Okay. So then
you're
we
okay.
vote to change the
Okay,
next.
so that's gonna change in your favor.
Yeah.
So it's good. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions?
No, let's.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, any more community comments or feedback? Any more community comments or? Thank you. Seeing none, we'll move on. Next, we're going into resolutions. 5.1 is a resolution to approve the credit arrangement with CIBC. Resolution 2023-039, moved by Councillor Fitzpatrick, seconded by Councillor Sean, okay. Whereas section 173.1 of the Municipal Act provides authority for a municipality to borrow money by resolution for operating expenses during the fiscal year, providing the amount borrowed does not exceed the amount collected in taxes and grants in lieu of taxes in the previous fiscal year. Now therefore be it resolved that council authorized credit arrangements of $3 million overdraft between the city of Thompson and the CIBC, Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce. And be it further resolved that the sums borrowed under this resolution will be supported by a charge upon the whole of the revenues of the city of Thompson. Administration?
As explained last week, this is so that we can, if we need to, begin during the year, run into an overdraft.
Thank you. Councillor Fitzpatrick is a mover. Do you have any comments?
Well, it seems to me that it makes sense. I mean, we can't just not have protection to cover the city, so
Thank you.
it makes sense to me.
Any comments, another councillor? Councillor Colbert?
Yes, was that 3 million done used in the last council?
In the past 4 years that I've been with the city's never used that, though it's done every year as a housekeeping item, so it's there if council does need it.
Yep, okay. Just want to make that.
Councillor Wong?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. My question is almost the same, like, since it's always that's what the line of credit is it necessary to be doing every year, or is it because of the municipal act that we must do this resolution every year for the housekeeping purpose?
Lynn? It's a requirement of the bank. It is a requirement of the bank.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Seeing none, call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Resolution 5.2 is a resolution to approve taxes added. Resolution 2023-040, moved by Councillor Fitzpatrick, seconded by Councillor Wong. Whereas section 326.1 of the Municipal Act provides authority for a municipality to correct its tax roll in respect of a property and impose supplementary taxes if after the tax roll has been completed. The assessor reports to the municipality that A, the property is liable to taxation because it was not assessed. B, the property is liable to taxation due to a change in ownership or use. C, the assessment of the improvement of the property requires an increase due to a change in the physical condition of the improvement. D, a change has been made in the classification of the property under the Municipal Assessment Act or a regulation under the Act. Or B, the land has been improved or subdivided. Now therefore be it resolved, the council authorized the chief financial officer to make additions to the 2023 real property tax roll as certified by the assessor on the additions to the tax roll attached hereto as per Appendix AR 1-23 and AB 1-23. Administration?
Yes, as explained last week, the business tax addition is for a business that opened in November of last year. And the other one for real property is a rent and lease scenario where the province owned the property before, and now it's owned by a private brokerage.
Thank you. Councillor Fitzpatrick is the mover.
No comment there, thank you.
Any other comments? Seeing none, call for the question. All those in favor? Carried. 5.3 is a resolution to approve taxes canceled. Resolution 2023-041, moved by Councillor Landmark, seconded by Councillor Colburn. Be it resolved that pursuant to the authority provided in section 306.1 of the Municipal Act, council hereby authorizes the cancellation of taxes hereto as appendix 1-23 and B 1-23. Administration?
I guess the real property cancellations involve a home that was suffered fire damage. A trailer in the old trailer court that were able to structure removed, and there was an agreement with the assessor and the owner to revise the supplemental assessments. And the other business one was business closure in the year.
Thank you. Councillor Landmark, as a mover, do you have any questions, concerns?
No, I don't, this is, to me, it's almost a housekeeping rule, where these things have been done already, we're just canceling each time. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other councillors comment? Seeing none, call for the question. All those in favor? Carried. Five point four is a resolution approving the waiving of the fees for the TRCC Bill Kamaski Wellness Center for the University of Winnipeg. Resolution 2023-042, moved by Councillor Fitzpatrick, seconded by Councillor Chong. Whereas the University of Winnipeg is hosting a 3-day gathering, May 26th to 28th, 2023, that will focus on changing knowledge of Assiniquisau, Iqaluit, Rocky Cree language, culture, and history. And whereas part of the event will be taking place at the Thompson Regional Community Center, TRCC, in the Bill Kamaski Wellness Center. And the event organizers have requested a reduction of 50% of all fees associated with the rental of the Bill Kamaski Wellness Center. Now therefore be it resolved that council waive 50% of the fees for the Bill Kamaski Wellness Center to the University of Winnipeg cultural event at a cost not to exceed $1,556.44. Councillor, or no, administration first, sorry.
Yeah, so this was a request that was reviewed at the committee the whole last Monday. After debate, it was recommended that be brought forward for resolution to authorize the 50% reduction.
Thank you. Councillor Fitzpatrick as the mover.
Yeah, I'm in favor of this, Mayor, thank you. Again, it goes back to the Truth and Reconciliation and all the good work that those folks are doing, and they're in collaboration with the UCN as well, so. Good chance at education.
Thank you. Councillor Landmark.
Yes, thank you. I will definitely be in favor of this as well. As Councilor Patrick has said, this is part of Truth and Reconciliation. We're one of the cities, one of the first cities to ever have an Aboriginal board. And I think that we gotta stay on that path. This is part of reconciliation. This is $1,500 of waiving fees. There's 4 communities involved with Rocky Cree language. And we're trying to restore and assist with the culture and heritage and oral history of those communities. There'll be 4 communities coming in. Sure, our hotels and the community will see the benefits of that. It'll also help with the restoration of some reconciliation and help with restoring some of the oral histories. And I'm looking forward to this. Excited. Thank you. I'll be definitely supporting it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay, thank you. I do agree this is on our path to reconciliation, and I feel that definitely will be a benefit to our community. So with that, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? Carried. 5.5 is a resolution declaring Nickel Days as a community event. Resolution 2023-043. Moved by Councillor Oberdorfer, seconded by Councillor McIver. Whereas the Nickel Days Committee is planning for the upcoming Nickel Days weekend that will take place on June 21st to 24th, 2023 at the Thompson Regional Community Center. And whereas the Nickel Days Committee is requesting that the city declare this a community event of the city of Thompson in order to comply with the Liquor Gaming Act regulations. Now therefore be it resolved, the council declare Nickel Days a community event in the city of Thompson. Administration?
Yeah, so this is an annual request that comes forth from the Nickel Days Committee, and it's to do, as we mentioned, with their liquor lottery license. So it's here for council's consideration.
Councillor Oberdorfer is the mover.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I have no further comments. I'll be in support of this resolution. Thank you.
Any other members? Chair Speaker, Deputy Mayor.
Thanks, Mayor Smith. Just a couple things. I'm obviously gonna be supporting this. It's worth noting that Charlie Major is gonna be the lead at the Nickel Days Social. Nickel Days Committee is looking for volunteers. They have a Facebook page, so if the public wants to step, they need some help. They also are a good partner to the city of Thompson with some of the paving at the Gordon Beard Arena. They've helped support our new aquatic facility, so I'm definitely supporting this, and I think it's a win-win working with the Nickel Days Committee. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else? Definitely, coming out of COVID, this will be the, one of the biggest and best, and look forward to supporting it, and like to being a volunteer there, so step up to the plate. With that, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? Here. 5.6 is a resolution declaring Canada Day as special event. Resolution 2023-044, moved by Councillor Fitzpatrick, seconded by Councillor Chong. Whereas the Canada Committee is planning the upcoming Canada Day celebration that will take place on July 1st, 2023. Now, therefore, be it resolved that Council declare Canada Day a special event in the city of Thompson. Administration?
Yeah, this is also an annual resolution that comes before council. By approving this, council would allow all the transient traders who attend the Canada Day event to sell their goods and items without having to have their own individual license.
Thank you. Councillor Fitzpatrick?
Oh, thank you, Mayor. I think this is a good thing for the city. The last event we had there, the Jump Off the Spring, was a great community event, and everybody's starting to come out. Like you said, COVID's done and people are gathering now, and I think everybody looks forward to Canada Day celebration. So I think it's be a good thing for the city to do.
Thank you. Any other comments, councillors? Seeing none, call for the question. All those in favor? Carried. I look forward to possibly the councillors even doing the pancake breakfast. 5.7 is a resolution declaring the 102.9 CHPM trade show a special event. Resolution 2023-045, moved by Councillor Oberdorfer, seconded by Councillor McIver. Whereas the 102.9 CHPM 2023 trade show is scheduled for the weekend of May 4th to 7th, 2023, and will take place at the Thompson Regional Community Center. And whereas 102.9 CHPM has requested that the trade show be declared a special event for the city of Thompson. Now therefore be it resolved that council declares 102.9 CHPM 2023 trade show a special event in the city of Thompson. Administration?
Yeah, so if council were to approve this, this would allow the event host to pay the fee, and then all of the transient traders that participate in the event would not have to pay for their own licenses during that event period.
Thank you. I'm going to Councillor Oberdorfer.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I have no additional comments, and I'm supporting this resolution.
Any other counselors? Next. Deputy Mayor?
Thanks, Mayor Smith. So I'm gonna definitely be supporting this. I think it's worth noting that we've had 4 resolutions tonight that are all kind of events and they're down at our TRCC and we talk about budget and there's never a return of investment when it comes to recreation, nor will there never be. But it is our job to host things that our city can attend to. And if we go to our community safety and well-being plan, it's definitely our pillars to offer, whether it be recreation or low-cost education or events for our community. So I think all of these to have tonight are good news and a win for us that we're having things back for our community and our recreation department is bringing this forward. And some of these events are based from community-led volunteers, whether it be Canada Day or Nickel Days, and they need help, so our public needs to step up. But I think this is great to see that we're gonna have a summer and a spring of events going on in our community. So this is good. I'm definitely supporting this, and I appreciate some of these coming forward, like Canada Day in April. Like usually everything was so last minute, so I appreciate the planning and the organizing that's happening here. This is good. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Comments? CHPM trade show is definitely an institution here. That means the ice is out of our arena, spring is here, the whole 9 yards. And just to be known, they do pay a fee. It's not, none of these haven't been, without fees. In fact, CHPM pays quite a significant fee to participate in this. So it's definitely a boon to our community and we appreciate everybody that takes part and all the volunteers. Just a reminder, at this table, there will be a city booth, so a few hours here and there will definitely help. So with that, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? Carried. 5.8 is a resolution authorizing administration to enter into a funding agreement between Eco West Canada and the city of Thompson for the EV charger project. Resolution 2023-046, moved by Councillor Landmark, seconded by Councillor Colburn. Be it resolved that Council authorize administration to enter into a funding agreement between Eco West Canada and the city of Thompson for the EV charger project. Administration?
Yes, so back in June of 2020, council approved a resolution allowing the administration to submit an application to the Zero Emission Vehicle Infrastructure Program, which is a program of Natural Resources Canada, to get a level 3 charging station in the city of Thompson for electric vehicles. That required a grant contribution from the city of Thompson of up to 50% of the cost if we were to be successful. At that round of the application, we were not successful. But then in June of 2021, the Economic Development Coordinator for the city brought forward another resolution for through council, authorizing her to apply for the same grant again, but this time in partnership with Eco West Canada. And there was also requested that council would provide $20,000 towards matching funds. That was also approved by council. Eco West went forward and put in the application to Natural Resources Canada and was successful. Also to note is that City Council passed a resolution for AMM, championing that the province of Manitoba and Manitoba Hydro will be providing electric vehicle charging stations along the highways and in communities. The province heard that and has provided funding to a number of communities now so that they can put in level 3 chargers. And the city of Thompson is a recipient of one of those as well in the amount of $20,000. So it was confirmed that the city of Thompson and Eco West were successful in getting a grant of up to $50,000 in a cost sharing agreement to do a level 3 charger in the city, meaning that if there's a match from the city of Thompson, it could be up to $100,000 towards the project. It was determined that the charging station would be placed at the TRCC on the south side near the flagpoles. As I mentioned, the province of Manitoba is contributing $20,000. Natural Resources Canada up to $50,000. The government of Manitoba 20, City of Thompson 20, and a private donor is offering up to $6,000. So the administration is recommending to move this project forward. That council authorize us to sign an agreement with Eco West Canada to continue on the procurement of the electric or level 3 charging station for the city.
Councilor Lundmark, as a mover.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. I'll be supporting this. To finally have some electric vehicles in our fleet. We've been looking for this since the June of 2020. And our administration's been working on it. We heard from other groups that they wanted electrical vehicles coming all the way up here from down south. The fact is that you can drive from the west coast to the east coast and back in Canada, but you can't come up north. And if you look at the map, we're really not that far, but it's just another option for us to be able to stay with the rest of the world here and have an electrical charging station. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Councilor Colburn.
A quick question there, who does the maintenance on it? Is that the city's responsibility?
It would fall the first few years under a warranty period where certain things would be covered under the warranty. But moving forward, once the city owns the infrastructure, we become responsible for some of that maintenance.
Anyone else? Councilor Fitzpatrick.
Thank you, Mayor. I think I'll be supporting this also. Not only is it gonna be good for the general public, but it'll also entice electric vehicle manufacturers to possibly come here for cold weather testing of their vehicles also, because there are concerns about the operation in the cold, so. A little feather in our cap that way.
Anyone else? Yeah, for sure, definitely, I get groups of campers that have tow vehicles that are electric, that they'll be very happy to hear of this. I think with our positioning ourselves in the weather testing and the winter weather testing, that this is definitely also a boom to our economy and who knows how many taxis we're gonna have with electrical vehicles down the line. So I think it's a good news story for all of us. With that, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? Carried. Five point nine is a resolution to approve the 2023 fee and fine schedule. Resolution 2023-047, moved by Councillor Fitzpatrick, seconded by Councillor Chong. Be resolved that council approve the 2023 fee and fine schedule effective April 25th, 2023. Carol?
Sure, so this was updated in response to our vehicle for hire bylaw. There's a bunch of different fines in there, which would relate to taxi cabs and things like that. We also did some reorganization and put little labels on under the bylaw so that you know exactly which bylaw the fine belongs to. So if it's the firewood one, the wood salvage bylaw, it'll tell you that it's now the wood salvage bylaw rather than just a fine. We've done that, and then there was a few additions from previous bylaws that were missed when we transferred over from one bylaw to the enabling bylaw. Some of those were missed, so those were added, and there was just some cleanup, some housekeeping stuff that was done on it. Yeah.
Thank you. Councillor Fitzpatrick is the mover. Do you have any questions, comments?
No comments, Mayor. Thank you.
Any comments, questions by any of the other council? Thank you. I commend all the hard work that has gone through your department in bringing this forward, and appreciate it very much. Call for the question. All those in favor? Carried. Bylaws 6.1. The second reading of bylaw 2030-2022, vehicle for hire bylaw. Resolution 2023-046, moved by Councillor Oberdorfer, seconded by Councillor McIver. Be it resolved that bylaw 2030-2022, being a bylaw for the regulation of vehicles for hire in the city of Thompson, hereinafter referred to as the vehicles for hire bylaw, be given a second reading as amended. Administration.
Yeah, so council had previously seen the first version of this and had did the first reading and wanted a number of changes made. So the department took that to the lawyers, made a number of those changes and brought it back for second reading and potentially third reading this evening. Council can proceed with both readings tonight if they'd like and finish the bylaw. Or if there are further questions, I would recommend giving second reading. And then if there's further amendments or information you'd like, to table the third reading. So that's really council decision. And if there's comments on the changes that are to this new bylaw, which were reviewed at the committee of the whole, Carol's able to answer any of those this evening.
Thank you. Carol?
Would it be possible for me to respond to some of their questions? Because I think we've actually incorporated them into the bylaw. Would that be acceptable?
You're the one that read it as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, so the administration can go forward with, yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to, I just want, so, I know that they mentioned the 160 hours in the current bylaw, which was developed in 2014, that 156 hours, and so the full-time, part-time, and casual are in the current bylaw. That was never changed. What we did do was in our new bylaw allow for time off. So in the previous bylaw, it said you had to have 156 hours in the month. This one says you can 156 hours. However, if you are away and you've had it approved by the bylaw inspector, then we're okay with that. So that wouldn't go against your not fulfilling your 156. We would keep that. That would be an exemption for that one. It also, in our new bylaw, states that you can be away for 90 days, consecutive days, or 90 calendar days, which if you compare that to a city employee, the maximum they get for days off is 31. So it's a significant amount of time that they can be out of the community. So as far as refusing trips, 66.4 of the bylaw says absolutely, if you feel uncomfortable, go ahead, refuse the trip. We just want you to report it to dispatch. And we want dispatch to let us know that you've refused the trip and why. And then that way we have the information on our end. If we're getting complaints, then we can answer why the trip was refused. And the owner being at inspection, that has been something that has been in the bylaw since I know of the 90s. And that's so that if there are any issues with the vehicle, the owner is there to take care of them. Drivers can't take care of some of the issues, the owner is there. However, if an owner is out of town, as long as they've advised the license inspector, they can send another owner in their place so that if they are out of town, we can still do that inspection. I think that was it on those questions.
Thank you very much. Any other, Councilor Oberdorfer, Mover, any comments?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I did have a few questions. The first one being the changes to the section 73 regarding cameras in the car. So I know that one of the changes that we've made is to add audio recordings. So my question is if there is a timeline attached to how long, I guess, companies or drivers have to change over their equipment, I guess, because I would assume that's going to take since right now they're not recording. So have they been given like a grace period essentially, I guess, to have that changed over? How are we handling that?
So it's just a matter of changing of the SD card to a bigger SD card. That's it. That's all that has to be done. So as soon as those are ordered, then they can be switched out. It's probably about a 5 or 10 minute job.
Okay, so sort of just clarify. Are we enforcing any timeline, I guess, then? Like, is there concerns that it won't happen?
We would provide them a grace period to do it. Okay.
That's one more question.
Anthony?
Yeah, I think it was just for clarification, so that the video cameras can already record audio, but it's turned off.
That is correct.
Right.
Wow, so I have one more question. So just regarding there was a concern that came up earlier, during the questions from the public about the, limiting the number of hours, I guess. So is there a concern regarding if someone is a part-time or casual driver, why they can't exceed the number of hours? I guess if I just want to understand more why we put the specific restrictions on each category of section 55, sorry.
If they can exceed it, we just don't want to see them exceed it all the time. If you're a casual driver and you're getting 156 hours for 6 months at a time, then just bump up your license to a full-time license. If you did 1 month where you needed a little extra money and you bumped, you worked extra hours, that money, it's not going to be a big deal. It's just for future.
Okay. Did you have another?
Yeah, I just have a clarifying question. So it kind of answers me about the maximum number of hours, but I'm assuming that there's a reason why we have a minimum number of hours in terms of them maintaining their license, just in terms of this, like experience, or I don't know.
Well, it's experience, but also they have to complete the paperwork and go to the RCMP and get the criminal records check and the child registry check and stuff like that. Ray has to do it with the license. It's an awful lot of work if you're not going to use your license.
Thank you.
Councillor Wong?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So the section 55 subsection 2 there. Okay, before I go there, how many full-time driver that register to the city right now at this moment?
Offhand, somewhere's around, it's well over 30 for sure, yeah. But I don't have an exact number.
So the reason I'm asked that to fulfill the section 55 subsection 1, so if we issue 45 license to the city, to the driver, to the taxi industrial, so we need at least 90 full-time to take care of the business. So now it fall into section 55 subsection 2. So there, I must be say there will be a lot of part-timer and also some casual. So they will not allow to do that to help out. So that will be a problematic to me when I keep reading about the hours of service. So the 55 subsection to a person who hold a part-time license must drive a taxi for at least 16 hours per month on average, but must not drive a taxi for more than 155 hours in any month. So how can the drive, let's say the owner want to take a 2 months off or whatever, they will never able to get anybody to drive for them or keep the taxi on the road. So that part, how can we overcome that? I'd like to understand. And hopefully the administration can give me that answer that time. Thank you.
Thank you.
The majority of our drivers are full-time. We have one casual driver, and we have some part-time for sure. The part-time, if they were driving over the 156 hours, the license inspector advised them, and we've had quite a few of them come in and switch over to a full-time license.
But earlier sorry, Madam Mayor, earlier I asked you how many full-time register, you say only 30 some. How many altogether?
I don't have that information right now.
So is it possible to look into that part? Because I think this is the most important part for the whole entire bylaw. The rest, I don't see any problem. But the hour restriction is kind of like, is it practicable when it comes to doing the business? So that is the concern I have. So if we can come up the answer for the owner or the driver, at least that I can see I support it. But otherwise, it's still problematic to me for this particular section here.
Thank you. Any other comments? Deputy Mayor Valentin.
Thanks, Mayor Smith. Okay, so I have a couple comments also. I don't believe that the owner needs to be here for the inspection. I think with this day and age, you can FaceTime or they can use devices and you can communicate electronically with the owner at the time of the vehicle inspection. I struggle with actually grasping now with these hours, especially with the community comments about the limiting of license, that maybe there shouldn't be restrictions for the part-time. So I'm gonna support the second reading, but I would be comfortable in tabling the third until this gets brought back. Just because I have some more, I need some more understanding on these hours, and hearing from the industry again. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, seeing no further question, I am going to ask all in favor, if this is the second reading, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. Six point two is the third reading of bylaw 2030-2022. Resolution 2023-049, moved by Councillor Fitzpatrick, seconded by Councillor Chong. Be it resolved that the bylaw 2030-2022 be given the third and final reading and be now passed. Councillor Coburn,
I move to table this issue for another day.
thank you. Do we have a seconder for that motion? Councillor Fitzpatrick. All in favor?
Oh, one moment, Madam Mayor.
Okay.
We have to appoint a date for it to be brought back.
Yeah, I was gonna do that, okay, I just wanted to see if they were in favor of doing this. So with that being said, we have to have a date to bring it back. According to our calendar,
I would recommend to bring it back on May 23rd. That will give time for administration to work on it and then bring it to a committee of the whole for further discussion.
is council in favor of that? That's okay.
Yes.
Okay. Opposed? Okay. Duncan, did you vote on that? Are you in favor of bringing it back on May 23rd?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Councilor Lumber?
I thought it would also be wise maybe to ask anybody that has any questions about this to get into administration as soon as possible. So that, like, there was a ton of work done on this already. I realize there's some minor questions here. I think it's great. Just a couple of tweaks, and I think it'll be great for our taxi industry and for the city. Thank you.
Yes, I agree. Definitely, we should all reach out. Council should get in their comments. I can actually hand mine in tonight. I've done them. And I would suggest that the taxi industry, talk to your partners, talk to that, and get a hold of Carol and Ray. And we're focusing whether we need a meeting together, that definitely. So the third reading of this will happen on May 23rd. And until then, we will work on with things. So thank you. We're going to 6.2. Is the yeah. Next, we're going to the second reading of bylaw 2031-2022, the Municipal Bylaw Enforcement Act enabling bylaw amendments. Resolution 2023-050, moved by Councillor Lamarck, seconded by Councillor McIver. Be it resolved that 2031-2022 being a bylaw of the City of Thompson to amend bylaw 1953-2017, being a bylaw of the City of Thompson to allow enforcement of city bylaws, including parking bylaws, under the Municipal Bylaw Enforcement Act, be given a second reading. Administration.
I can address it. So this is actually just changes procedurally or like housekeeping to make the changes that are required to support the changes that are coming forth under the vehicle for hire bylaw. So I'd recommend as council's table the third reading of the bylaw to give second reading of this one, but then bring forward a motion to table the third reading at the next item.
Comments by council? Councilor Lundmark.
I agree with the Chair McInnes, like, yeah, I knew these were the changes from the other changes, and I agree that it would be a good idea to look at the second reading and table it.
Okay, thank you. Any other councilors, comments? Okay, call for the question. All those in favor? Carry. And again, bylaw 2031-2022, third reading of the bylaw. Resolution 2023-051, moved by Councillor Colburn, second by Councillor McIver. Be it resolved that 2031-2022 be given third and final reading as do now pass. Councillor Colburn.
I recommend that we table this issue for the future reading,
Okay, when can we give you a date, sir? May 23rd?
May 23rd is fine, but you don't give me the second.
Thank you. We need a second. Deputy Mayor Valentino, all those in favor? Carried. Thank you. And with that, it brings to adjournment. Thank you all for attending tonight and have a great week.
Thank you.
Your